Hi, welcome to this short Advent message from Christ the Rock. My name is Marcus, and I will be sharing with you today. In my family, growing up in Germany, we would always have an Advent wreath, and I have got one here. And as it at the moment we just had the third of Advent, so 3 candles are lit here. This Sunday coming is the fourth of Advent, and the fourth candle will be lit. And even in Germany, even non-Christians have got an Advent wreath in their house, and it's just become a tradition. But it's really interesting what it actually means, and the whole season of Advent. For us as children, it meant as soon as the first candle would be lit, the first Sunday in Advent it's only 3 to 4 weeks till Christmas. So we were very excited about it, and my mother would start decorating the house and make it all feel Christmassy. But the word Advent actually comes from Latin, the word Adventus, and that means coming. And during that season of Advent, especially in different churches, we look at different characters in the Bible who prophesied that Jesus would be coming, or who were preparing the way for Jesus to come. And one of them was John the Baptist. And when I was in the last few weeks reading about John the Baptist, one verse in particular struck me and spoke to me. And it was the verse in Luke chapter 1, verse 14, and he says this: "He will be a joy and delight to you, and many will rejoice because of his birth. For he will be great in the sight of the Lord." He will be great in the sight of the Lord. And it was actually not talking about Jesus, but it was talking about John the Baptist who would be born. It was an angel speaking to John the Baptist's father, Zechariah. And I thought this was an amazing message, saying that John the Baptist, he would be great in the sight of the Lord. And then I thought, actually, and looked, what did he do? And he actually, in Mark it says that he lived in the desert. He wore clothing of camels, made out of camel's hair. He had long hair, a long beard which was never been trimmed or cut. He was eating locusts and ate honey, wild honey, which he found in rocks and beehives, wild beehives. He was a wild man, and he wasn't like your normal, ordinary man. And probably if you would meet him, you probably would be scared of him. But he was great in the sight of the Lord. And he called people to repentance, telling them the bad things they're doing and they should turn around. And he was preparing the way for Jesus to come. In fact, he was almost the same age as Jesus himself. And they kind of overlapped in their ministry. And he was one of the greatest prophets. That's what Jesus said. He was actually the greatest prophet. And he, in fact, baptized Jesus himself. You have to imagine, he baptized the Son of God. Now, that is a big job. And so he was a great man in the sight of God, but in the sight of the world, he was wild and he often was disliked, even so much so that he was imprisoned for many years and then eventually beheaded. He was disliked in the world. But he was great in the sight of the Lord. And I thought, you might feel insignificant, you might feel small, you might feel worthless, you might feel you can't contribute too much, you can't do many things, you're not as gifted as others, and maybe you're even disliked by other people in the world, or from the worldly perspective, you're not a celebrity, you're just an ordinary person. But I have good news for you, that actually, because Jesus was born so many Christmases ago, God sees you through him, and he sees you as a great person. You are great. You are blameless. You are pure. You're holy. You are dearly, dearly loved. So much so that God calls you a son or a daughter. And that is the great, great news of Christmas, really, that Jesus came, that we can have that amazing relationship with God, that God sees us as great people, like he saw John, that he was great in the sight of the Lord. He sees you great. You are great. You are tall in the sight of the Lord. You are a winner, not a loser. You are a conqueror, and you can do great things for God. And I just want to bless you this Christmas. May you have a really great time and enjoy this season and know who you are in the sight of God.